The Atlantic tropics may be beginning to heat up. Hi folks, I'm Mike Naso with the latest on the tropics. We're now in late June, and as you can see from this graph, this is from 1944 to 2020. All during the year, when are we most likely to get tropical storm and hurricane development in the Atlantic basin? And you can see right now, we are right here. We are at the end of June. We are nowhere near the climatological peak of hurricane season, which technically occurs around September 10th or so. That's why, a lot of times the biggest hurricanes hit between late August and early September. The late great Dr. William Gray from Colorado State once said on August 20th, a conveyor belt, a switch, turns on in the Atlantic. And that is when things really heat up. But that does not mean that you can't get systems out there. Now this is the Atlantic right now, and you can see it's mostly quiet, but off the coast of Africa we do have a tropical wave. Now, waves move off Africa all year long, and it is a little early for a big tropical wave formation off the coast of Africa. Usually we look more towards August and September. However, this wave has been holding together better than most that you'll ever see leave in June. And we have model agreement with our computer forecasting models that we're actually likely to see development, and this could impact land down the road. Now, it's not a named storm or a depression yet, it's just a blob, but it's out here way off the coast of Africa, and you can see it does have deep convection. It's got some life to it, it's not falling apart, and the waters are very, very warm. So, what are we seeing with the models? Well, first of all, we have the GFS model, the Canadian model, the European model, all in agreement that this system is going to develop and move into the Caribbean Sea, maybe in the Leeward Islands, Windward Islands, and then move west-northwest through the Caribbean Sea in the general direction of either Central America, the Yucatan Peninsula, or the Gulf of Mexico. However, the Canadian model is even further north. Here's the Canadian model, and you can see it brings our system through the islands as a tropical storm, maybe even a Category 1 hurricane. Then it takes it over the Greater Antilles, areas there of Hispaniola, and then it moves it towards the Bahamas, taking aim, very close aim, at Florida, although based on the weather pattern it might get a kick there towards the end. Nevertheless, that implies a threat to the United States coastline sometime around 4th of July or a little bit after or a little before. Now that's the Canadian model. This is the GFS model. Now these are a good indicator of long range. So we're just looking at what the model's seeing for the future as kind of an idea. And you can see it takes it straight through the Caribbean Sea, boom, slams into Central America, looks like a hurricane, at least a Category 1 hurricane. And then this is the European model, and this one is a pretty good model. And you can see it makes our system a powerful hurricane and makes landfall, it looks like there in Nicaragua. Very, very close to the Honduran-Nicaraguan border, very similar to Hurricane Felix back in 2007.
Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR with an update on extremely dangerous Hurricane Felix. You can see the last 3 days, Felix came through the windwards, became a tropical storm, and is now an extreme hurricane.
15 years ago, Hurricane Felix, that was a Category 5 hurricane, and that was around Labor Day weekend. So this is a whole different thing. It's a totally different storm. Nevertheless, 3 big models in agreement that something's coming through the Caribbean. Now these are the ensembles, these are the spaghetti plots, and you can see this is the GFS spaghetti plots, and this is of no help to us whatsoever. I mean, anywhere from Nicaragua to Nova Scotia, that's useless. However, the European ensembles are in very good agreement. Look at this clustering here, cluster right there through the Caribbean Sea, and they get pretty strong. The only time it diverges there is at the end, where is it going to continue into Central America, or is it going to feel some kind of weakness in the high pressure and move more towards the Gulf of Mexico, similar to Elsa last year, which hit the west coast of Florida, although these models seem to think this might be a little stronger than Elsa. Now the reason why they're making it a hurricane, you look out there right now, the wind shear, you're going, Mike, The waters are boiling, but there's no way anything's going to get to develop. Look at this wind shear ripping across the Caribbean. It's going to decapitate anything that comes near. Right, but look at these wind shear models on the European. Look what happens. As the system becomes a hurricane and moves through the Caribbean, it gets a nice high pressure anticyclone, high pressure aloft, venting it, sucking on those Caribbean waters. There's no wind shear there. That allows it to become a hurricane or a strong hurricane. Now, we've had June hurricanes and July hurricanes. We had major hurricanes in July. I believe the last major hurricane in July was Hurricane Bertha, 2008. So yeah, maybe once every decade or so. So it happens. So I'm not saying this is going to be a hurricane or a strong hurricane, but we are starting to get model agreement, and we do have gasoline poured here, and we have an unlit match off Africa. So the ingredients are there, and we're going to continue to watch it very carefully. But the last couple of days, these models have been hinting on things, and so we're going to watch it very carefully. In the Pacific, you can see we have Celia out there trying to become a hurricane. Little hurricane trivia, we had a Hurricane Celia in 1970 slammed into Corpus Christi, Texas as a 140-mile-an-hour Category 4. It was devastating. So they retired the name Celia. But when they created the Eastern Pacific name lists, they put the name Celia on it. So, whatever. But here's Celia moving on out. And we have that naked swirl out there. That's Blas. Remember Blas from last week? Hurricane Blas? I just like saying Blas. Blas is no more. He's naked. He's out there. Celia coming from behind and is going to become a hurricane, but probably stay out at sea. Just some high swells for areas there of the Baja. So we have Celia and what's left of dead Blas, and we're going to watch very carefully in the Atlantic. You can see the name list. Our next name on the list is Bonnie. And so we'll see if we get Bonnie over the next couple of days. I'm Mike Nasel with the latest on the tropics. Stay tuned. We'll continue to watch that wave off Africa and see if anything happens with it. And if you're in the Caribbean, the ABC Islands, the Leeward, the Windward Islands especially, keep a close eye, and we'll see what happens. I'll talk to you guys next time.